Bobby on the Beat. Hey everybody, welcome to Bobby on the Beat. Today we have a very special guest, Marcus Samuelsson. Marcus and I go way back. We have lots of stories to tell, so welcome Marcus. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You and I have a connection that is an important part of the rise of who you are.
Yep.
I just happen to be standing there, but it's a story that I want to tell, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Like even, we see each other as so many different things, and most of the time there's a lot of people around us, but when it's like, I know I'm going to speak to you, I always think about it.
Right. But you grew up most of your life in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of an important part of the story because I want to tell a little bit of the story from my point of view.
Yeah,
Obviously, your point of view is way more deep than mine because you lived it. From me, Aquavit, the highest end Swedish restaurant in America for sure, maybe in the world.
In the world, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Bar
and
none.
I wouldn't know, but yes, probably in the world.
At that point,
Yes, for sure. I had Mesa Grill. It was we opened Mesa Grill in 1991. In 1994, I opened a restaurant called Bolo, which was my first Spanish restaurant. So when I was opening Mesa Grill, I was holding sort of auditions for people to cook in the restaurant. It's a lot different then than it is today. I mean, we had people in droves coming to who wanted to cook in the restaurant. And it was a brand new restaurant on Fifth Avenue. It was a lot shinier than the restaurant you were talking about, Miracle Grill in the East Village. And it was on the bright lights of Fifth Avenue as opposed to, being in the East Village, which at the time was not a very safe place to be. One of the cooks who kept coming back and back, and it took me a while to hire him, was from Sweden. His name was Jan Sendel. He was working for a high-end Mexican restaurant called El Teddy's. I had called the chef there, and I said, "What do you think of this guy?"
What's up with
and
this
he's
guy?
like, he's got a little bit of an attitude. And I was like,
Check.
Okay.
We can agree, rest in peace,
right.
but yes.
Yes, okay. And so he came, and I didn't hire him. He kept coming back and back. This is the kind of story that you hear and read about in books.
I like him already,
Exactly. He kept coming back, and he said to me, "Please, I will cook for you.
Yeah.
I want to work for you so badly. I am so interested in these flavors and what you're about to do here at Mesa Grill." And my manager at the time, a woman named Fran Bernfeld, who came from Miracle Grill with me, said to me, and she was the most reasonable and relaxed person I've ever worked with. And she's like, "Bobby, hire this kid. He wants it."
Yeah, he wants in.
Like, who cares what his reference was? Like, the guy didn't say he was like a murderer. Like, he said he's got a tough attitude. Yeah. Okay, great. He's in the restaurant business. So I hired him, and it turned out to be an amazing hire.
Yeah.
And he was dedicated to perfection. And every station that he worked, he went and perfected. And he went around the kitchen over 3 years. And he would go home. He was married. He was a young guy, had a young wife. And he would go home and he would put his chef coat on. We used to make fun of him. And he would put his chef coat on and start prepping at home and make dinner. Yeah. So he never stopped cooking. Yeah. I opened Bolo. Yeah. And he came to me. At this point, he had worked his way up to sous chef because he was so dedicated. Everybody wanted to eat there.
Yes.
In fact, the owner of Aquavit, Håkan Swan, would come once a week, it felt like. I got to know him. And, I knew he had this very important Swedish restaurant. Yeah. And I said to him a couple of times, jokingly, I have your future chef in my kitchen.
Shit. That's a good comment.
He's like, "No way." And I was like, he's from Sweden.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know a lot about Swedish food, ironically, but he's an amazing worker and a smart guy, and he's dedicated to his profession. And I'm telling you that at some point, if you don't hire him to be the chef of your restaurant, you're making a mistake.
Wow.
And he literally was like, "Yeah, sure, Bobby." Year goes by, I open Bolo, and I give him the chef de cuisine job at Mesa Grill.
Wow.
And it goes on for about a year.
Yeah.
And he calls me about a year later and says, "Can I sit down and have a conversation with you?" I said, "Sure." He said, and he was shaking.
Yeah.
And he said, "I am very nervous because I have a job offer and I don't want to take it, but I'm so rattled by it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's the job offer?" And he said, they offered me the head chef job at Aquavit. And I just started laughing. And I was like, well, I'm firing you because you have to take the job.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, this is your moment. This is, you're a Swedish guy. This is the most important Swedish restaurant probably in the world. Go. Fly.
And he was 30. And, you know,
30 or 31. He was very young.
Very young.
Long story short, took the job. Also, in the interim, asked if he could take one of my sous chefs with him, Larry Mannheim, because he just felt he needed some backup.
We need Larry.
Right,
Everyone needs Larry when you open
I let two of my most important people go to Aquavit. But you know what? But that's, Marcus, that's our business. We were taught to be generous with each other. So I lost two of my people, but of course, I was on the phone with them once a day because they were asking me how to do things.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know this, but you were in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you were cooking there.
Yeah.
Very young guy. How old were you?
23.
Oh, my God. So Jan was there for, I don't know, a month or so or 2 months. I forget. It was a very short period of time. It seemed like a day to me when I think about it. There was no internet then.
No.
The most important thing that you got was like, obviously the New York Times, but that was way down the line for him. And he got a story in New York Magazine about him being the new chef. Yes. This Swedish guy who was the sous chef at Mesa Grill, who was going to be taking over the kitchen at Aquavit. It was such a big deal. And he said to me, he called me on a Thursday, and he said, I made it. Yeah. He said, I'm in New York Magazine. Yeah. My photo, they're going to announce me as the new chef at Aquavit. It's coming out on Monday. Yeah. And over the weekend, he died. Yeah. Which was shocking to all of us, of course. Obviously, I went to the funeral at this Swedish church in New York, et cetera. It was such an awful occurrence.
Yeah, Bobby. I mean, it's everything about that story, the good and the bad and the ugly in that story, all of it, it speaks to New York City's hospitality in the 90s, right? Because it talks about mentorship. It talks about, you speak about ambition. Jan was all of those things, right? Yeah. And I remember one thing, and I've never, out of respect for him, done this dish, but he showed me a dish, very simple. And think about, this is 1995. He showed me, he did a tiny lobster salad, just like simple lobster salad, simple aioli with lemon, chopped chives, and then he cubed an Asian pear, and wrapped it with pickled daikon and gave it to me. It's still to this day the best version of lobster I've ever had, right? And I was like, I can't put this, it's not my dish. This is Jan's dish. And I had to like cut the pear, I had to like pickle the daikon. None of that was his strength, but he knew this dish in his head, and it was about to put that on the menu. So it was like, for me, it was the easiest job in the world. Like, he knows flavors better than me or ahead of me. And I have these French techniques. So I was like, we're going to be this killer pair, right? You know, it was horrible what happened.
So anyway, you became the chef.
Yeah.
Right? And then your career, your whole life took off.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 3 stars in the New York Times, and then it was like one accolade after the next. Yeah. How old were you when you got the 3-star review?
23, 24.
I mean, ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, I opened Mesa Grill when I was 25, and people say
which is
to me,
super young.
People say, like, my daughter always says to me, she's like, Dad, how did you do that? Yeah. But like the fact that you were 24 years old, getting 3 stars in the New York Times at this like spectacular restaurant, like was it surreal to you? Were you too young to understand what it was?
I didn't know who Ruth Reichel was. I didn't read the New York Times. I didn't know what Food and Wine or Bon App. So when you're just cooking. And I wasn't even tapped into New York at that level yet, right? They said, we're going to be reviewed. And I think at that point, it came out on a Sunday. I think either Friday or Sunday. I don't remember.
Fridays, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what are we going to do when she's coming? And Håkan's like, what are you talking about? It's already
done.
It's done, you know? And then it's like, it's good. They want to come and take pictures. It's like, that's good because that means that it's not going to be bad, at least.
So, yeah, it was just one of those things like, listen, it was a tragic moment, obviously. But somebody has to take over. Yeah. And you were the guy. All right, so I made you a snack.
Yeah. I love
it's like it's a pork and Korean Asian wrap.
I got it.
Bobby on the beat. All right, Korean style pork lettuce wraps. Let's get it on. We're gonna first dice up some scallions, and then we're gonna crush a little bit of fresh garlic and grate some ginger. This is going to be for the marinade. All this is going right into the marinade to tenderize and flavor the pork. Some gochujang, Korean style red pepper paste, the ginger, the garlic, a little bit of soy or tamari, and then we have some orange juice, a little salt and pepper, and a little bit of avocado oil as well. And then we're going to slice up some pork shoulder, kind of really paper thin. Otherwise, it's not going to be as tender as we want. And we're going to put it in the marinade, and I would say 3 to 4 hours or overnight if you can. A little spice rub on the outside, salt and pepper on both sides. Very, very hot grill, and you want to get it really nice and crusty. So we cook this with intense high heat. So crusty on the outside and nice and juicy on the inside. Takes 3 minutes max, and it's really tender. Now we're gonna layer the lettuce wraps, a couple of pieces of lettuce, some sushi rice that's been cooked, of course, some of the pork that's been diced up, some sesame seeds, a mixture of gochujang, soy and honey, that's kind of the drizzle, and some fresh herbs like cilantro and some Thai basil. And actually, I'm gonna put just a little bit of kimchi, because I have it in my refrigerator, and I like that fermented flavor. And oh damn, got a little on my cheek. Bobby on the beat. I love gochujang so much.
It's so good.
Gochujang is it's a great way to cheat flavor, because it has so many different things happening at one time.
It's your Chipotle from '95.
You've been able to evolve in a spectacular way, and frankly, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Having one hit,
Yeah.
a hit record, a hit restaurant, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not that it's easy.
No.
It's really, really hard. But the second one is even harder.
Yeah.
And the third one. And especially if they're different cuisines
Yeah.
or different approaches. And you've been able to do that. Like when you open Red Rooster, you set Harlem on fire.
Yeah. No,
I mean, and I'm a native New Yorker.
Yeah.
I love Harlem. I love what's going on in Harlem. I always have.
Yeah. And you come out and support us many times.
Oh, absolutely.
You did the first Harlem meetup with us. And I don't remember what you said to the crowds, you take a fucking Ethiopian Swede to do this festival in Harlem?
No, exactly.
Where we been? And I was just laughing. I said to Herb, our partner, I was like, that's the best compliment. We can shut the down now. I got the best compliment.
Well, first of all, Harlem is a melting pot of the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to hang out in Harlem in the Italian section of
Yes,
Harlem.
of course.
On Pleasant Avenue, exactly. Whenever I'm about to walk into Red Rooster, I kind of look around and I feel like you've lit up 6 blocks in circumference.
Yeah.
You've obviously created value there.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sure you've raised the rents for the restaurants around you. I'm sure they don't
Thank
love
you for
that.
I appreciate that.
But listen,
Yeah.
but there's a party going on there every single day.
No.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. No,
it's amazing.
There's 2 things with Red Rooster that most people don't know. After 9/11, I was shell-shocked. And I called my mom, I think it's time to go. And she's like, I'm coming. You're not leaving. You can leave when you're ready to leave, but you're not leaving because of this.
Right.
So my mom came from Sweden.
Really?
Moved in with me. And then I was really depressed. And I was like, I can't work depressed. It doesn't work with us. We got to be creative.
Yeah.
So I couldn't beat it. I was like, what am I going to do? And then my mom said to me, hey, I know you're always happy when you go to Harlem. You always tell me, you always call me. Why don't you just look for an apartment there? And I was like, and she's like, why do we always, first of all, Marcus, why are your restaurants always expensive? Why are they always so far away?
Is your mom?
My mom. And your mom is staring at you.
Yeah.
So it's you can't, she holds up the mirror. It's why don't you open a smaller place or a place in the neighborhood where you're happy? So eventually I actually moved to Harlem. And then I realized right away, it's I'm in no position to open a restaurant here. I don't know enough. And people ask me every day, when are you going to open? When are you going to open? You should open a restaurant. I was I'm not ready. And the years went by. And I was still working at Aquavit. We got a second 3-star review. Mm-hmm. I won a ton of awards. It was really exciting time. But in my head, I'm one day, I kind of worked myself out of my funk. And it was busy. I launched Aquavit cookbook. And it was, the world was happening. But I knew that I didn't know what year I would be leaving, but it's funny, then when the financial downturn in 2008 happened, I knew, at that point, Håkan and I built the business. We had a restaurant in Japan, we had Aquavit in Japan, we had Aquavit in Stockholm. We had AQ Cafes, we built up a vodka. We built up a big business that had a lot of value, but when there's no money in the value anymore, as scary as that is, I'm like, that's actually an opportunity. I'm out.
Right.
And that downturn really became an opportunity in a way.
For you to move on to the next
To
thing.
move on to the next. You know, like Balthazar, right?
Yeah.
On a Sunday, I don't know the address to Balthazar. And I said, I want to build a place where no one knows the address. It's just a landmark where you kind of tell whether it's Uber or train, however you get there. See you at Rooster. Like, if you and I would have brunch at Balthazar, it's like, it's okay if I'm half an hour later, because you're not alone. And that's really the ethos of that.
I know, but a lot of people look at a place like Balthazar and they're like, I want to open a restaurant like Balthazar.
Yeah.
I'm like, good luck.
Yeah,
You're
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you've been able to,
Yeah.
you have that uptown.
With Rooster, I thought a lot about what can I do as a leading black chef for other chefs of color, right?
Yeah, do you feel pressure there?
Yeah, but it's like it's not about just the pressure. It's like you got to do something with it. There's got to be something there behind that wall for me. Otherwise, I also come on a lot of privilege. Like, first of all, I'm an immigrant to this country, not a refugee. If I would come from Ethiopia, maybe I wouldn't even come in. I come from Sweden, so I'm extremely privileged. Yet, all the civil rights changes and laws, I'm a benefiter of. I'm very aware that a lot of African Americans couldn't get a loan, but as a Swedish citizen, I could get a bank loan. So you can't really, for me, I can't really walk this walk unless I'm aware of my privileges, right?
Okay. But
no,
still,
but I think about, you asked me, that's why I think about
But
it. Right?
but that's incredibly thoughtful of you. It really is, because not everybody would think that
No.
way. But now you're here.
Yeah.
You're successful.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many people that look up to you, who are looking to get their life right.
Yeah.
And so how do you handle all of that?
First of all, I think there are like working with CCAP, Careers for Culinary
Yeah.
Arts, have really grounded me, and I've
Yeah.
now done it for 25 years. And I've met so many amazing kids that are now they're now restaurant owners, they're master somms, they're
Amazing.
doing their thing. So that taught me a lot. Being in Harlem, seeing how some people have been incarcerated, but through culinary, through our restaurants, they've been actually get their life back on track. So
Sure.
it's real life experiences. For me, it was important to have an open kitchen. So there's a real link between the guest and the experience. So when Hav came about, I'm like, okay, so I feel good about...
What does it mean? What's Havamar?
Hav is a Swedish word, and it means ocean. Mar is Ethiopian word, and it means honey. So this sweet...
Oh, really? 'Cause
Yeah,
Mar,
yeah, it's an Italian... Yeah,
Right,
of course.
exactly,
I
okay.
wanted that, like, ocean on ocean.
Okay.
And I'm okay if people think that,
That's
because
fine.
that's fun.
Yeah.
But I wanted that one word that you actually have to Google, and still you can't. I'm like, what does that mean?
Right.
Because you're in Chelsea. We're going to take you on an art journey, right? Or a food journey.
Are you an art collector? Do you like
I
collecting
am,
art?
absolutely. Absolutely. One of the first things I started to do was when I came to New York. Also because my friends were artists and we were broke at the same time.
Right.
But so with Hav, I felt like, you know what? When I was at those places at George Blanc and so on, the only thing I never saw was women and people of color. And I was like, you're not in that position where you now are in a position of power. So before you open this restaurant, let's focus on women and leadership, right? So all key positions, leadership position, GM, chef, head bar, are all held by women.
Love it.
And not just I worked with so many amazing chefs that are women that work for you.
Yeah.
And why should they stop at sous chef or CDC? No, go and run the whole thing.
Marcus, you and I learned a long time ago, women really rule the world.
Yes.
We're just
Yes.
we're just hanging out
Yeah,
here.
we're hanging
Exactly.
out. I mean, I have 15 restaurants. 9 of them are led by women, both in GM and executive chef position, which is, our biggest restaurant is in Bahamas,
Right.
all led by women,
Yeah.
local women.
Right.
And so I'd like to be in a leading position, just like you are. You have to be led by your curiosity and make paths for others, right?
When did the Ethiopia project start?
We've been open for 2 years, and it's been one of the most amazing rides of my life. As an adopted person, you almost learn about yourself in reverse. So the most basic things about your mom or your brothers or sister, whoever, you know the color of their eyes, you know the laugh, you know what makes them tick. When you're adopted, these basic things, you don't know. And then when you go to a country, and it's happening now when I bring my son, right? He's like, I am Ethiopian, but I don't speak the language.
Your son is the most beautiful child in the world, by the way.
Thank you. So it's like all these questions are opening up, right? So I was like, well, I know I don't know the language, but I know food. So my language is food. So I will open a restaurant here because that's that's our way to communicate, right? So when I knew I couldn't just open the restaurant, it had to be a school with it as well. So because only so many kids can work in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so it's been part of that package deal.
That's amazing.
And it's given me so much.
Oh my God, that's so great that you did that. I mean, seriously.
So it keeps me really on my toes, but also remembers my why, right? And this gift that I've been given, I had to work for, of course, I can now share it, you know, and that was kept me going at Harlem for a long time. That's also what gets me to Africa. Actually, when Tony Bourdain and I went to Ethiopia together, of course, I brought every trip. I bring pots, pans, shoes, all of that stuff. And my only wish is, can I go out and run with the kids, right? And they could be 5 to like 15, 20, it doesn't matter, right? And first of all the kids came barefoot. I was like, I gave you guys shoes. I was like, no, those are going out shoes. We're not running with these shoes. And the road is not like the road down here, right? So we start to run. And like, they just take off and they just look at me and like, are you coming, uncle? Are you coming? And I was like,
I mean, so the fact that you have, you know, that kind of influence in a place like that, I mean, you have, like, you make wonderful food, you open great restaurants, you hire people and you give them careers. But like, you're inspiring people in a way that very few people get to do.
Thank you.
And that's why I said to you, like, do you feel the pressure of this all? You know,
I actually think about it. So just to say to you, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. I think about it, right? A lot. And I also talk a lot about, you know, that joy you get from seeing, like, for example, like a young mentee of mine, a young chef that is doing amazing now, Tristan, he just won Top Chef, right?
Okay.
We were 10 years together in the kitchen. And every year it's like, I should go on Top Chef. I said, you're not ready. I'm not sending you until you're ready. And he applied 3 years, didn't get in. And the year he went, I knew, I can't guarantee he would win, but I knew he could go to the final, have a shot, right? And to see him actually go all the way, and we're very sort of sparse when we say sending somebody to competitions. Like Adrian worked in my kitchen, she got to the final. It's that discipline on your next, and seeing that kid, that chef executing on their vision, it makes me as happy as anything.
Well,
right?
you're a good mentor for that, because I had you on Triple Threat last season, and you were possessed, Marcus. I've known you for like decades. I've never seen this Marcus Samuelsson before in my life. And like, you willed yourself to beat those guys. Yeah, I mean, you wanted it so badly, but it was amazing.
I've been lucky enough to do a lot of cooking competition and won a lot of them. Top Chef and, you know, whatever, Chopped all that stuff. The Triple Threat is the hardest thing I've ever done.
It's very hard.
Because no matter what you think, of course, the three of them, whoever the three are, they're incredible. Yeah. But they're also in that competing mode. You can't come and think about you in the restaurant anymore.
That's their house, too.
There's their house.
Yeah.
So, and I thought about it. I was like, all right, I think the last course I pulled out gooey duck. Because I was like...
Got to do something.
Like, I'm like, Michael knows about gooey duck. Brooke knows about gooey duck. But maybe she hasn't cooked it that much. And Tiffany, I was like, nah, maybe not, right? So that was my only strategy. The thrill in the moment of being there, but still you got to be focused on your thing. It's like the most fun you can have, and you're really living. And that's one thing I always tell chefs, especially chefs that cook for a while, and said, no, I don't want to do it. I said, when you cook in a competition, you're truly living. In a way, like when you do beat Bobby Flay, regardless how it goes,
it doesn't matter.
I'm in it. You're in it, and that adrenaline feel is what we need as chefs. Especially we have that have cooked longer, because it's not that often you get that. So for me, it's the highest privilege. I don't even think about. And then obviously I've been an athlete all my life, so that competing side, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody has never experienced the Marcus Samuelsson experience, and they wanted to experience 3 things, what 3 things would you tell them?
Let me cook for you.
Okay.
And in that food journey, I think by looking at me, you're going to be surprised how much Japan is in the core underneath all of that, right? Those years and the time I went back and forth between Asia really impacted me, right? It's like looking at you and like, why would he be so into flavors that come from South America?
Yeah.
Or so that's why never look at a chef and think you know her or him, because you don't. You just don't. The fact that I've been in business for 30 years in New York City, it's the highest reward for me. Like that's not going to show up in the frame thing, but for me, it's everything.
Sure.
Because New York has changed so much.
Oh yes, and it continues to.
It continues to, and so I think that's something that we share. We share that curiosity. What's that guy doing? You know, we don't care if that cook doesn't have a plaque or no. That dish was whatever this kid is doing, and I think I always said to myself, the minute that curiosity is gone, I'm going to quit.
Got it. People can find you on social media, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a Marcus Cooks, and I'm excited about this year. I'm starting a sauce line. I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
And it's like the red sauce space is so crowded, so I'm going to go everything but red sauce. If you want to cook a curry at home, you can't buy 15 ingredients.
Right.
Great flavor for food. That's the space that we're going to go for, and we feel really good about it.
Love it.
And I'm excited. I'm actually starting this year a residence program where two young chefs can apply, and they're going to be all expenses paid for by us, and they're going to be able to go upstate and live with artists and reflect. When I came up in the 90s, my friends were not necessarily chefs, they were actually artists. And when we went to stages, they went to residencies.
Sure.
And I was like, this is exactly what we need as chefs.
Exactly.
So for me, it was always a dream to build a residence program. So I partnered with an amazing artist and Denniston Hills, which is in Catskills, and people can apply and they're going to get 2 weeks paid for, and they can just reflect on their career. And
it's fantastic.
Those things gives me a lot of joy.
I like that. Listen, you've made your mark on not just the restaurant industry, but like just the world. I mean, it's amazing. So continue success.
Thanks, man. That was great. That was awesome.
Wonderful conversation. If you really like what you're hearing here, please hit the subscribe button. Lets us know that you want us to keep doing this. We're having the best time. Stay tuned for next week's co-host, Bobby on the Beat.